How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are back here to do another episode prediction for this week's up-and-coming episode of The Walking Dead. This is Season 7, Episode 8, the mid-season finale, entitled Heart... Well, I guess I was going to say Heart is Still Beating, but it's just Heart's Still Beating, okay? So that is what the episode is titled, and all I can say is I'm really excited for it, man. Like, I have a feeling that some things are going to happen. We're not going to talk... too much about it. We'll go into somewhat detail, with what I'm talking about and maybe a certain part of the comic book and, a storyline in the comic book that I'm talking about that I think will play out in this episode. It's a death, I will say that, but I'm not going to spoil you guys, okay? So if you guys want to know about it, then I guess go read the comic books? I don't know. But anyway, this episode is Season 7, Episode 8, entitled Heart's Still Beating. It is the mid-season finale. It's also a 90-minute mid-season finale. All right, so this is actually the third 90-minute episode actually this season so far. We're only halfway through. We have 3 90-minute episodes, and the rest of the episodes are pretty much all extended by about 15 minutes or so, all right? Which is just crazy to think, you know what I mean? We always have 45-minute episodes and stuff like that. And now we're getting longer episodes, So this is something that we should really be thankful for. This show is a cable TV show, but it's sort of becoming prime time. You know what I mean? Like, most of the shows that run on, like, HBO and stuff like that really run for about an hour, with no commercials. And, of course, there are, commercials in The Walking Dead, but we are always getting extended episodes, which is just, it's really good. And I'm really grateful for it. So, again, Season 7, Episode 8, Heart Still Beating. You guys can follow along in the description below, with a link to the AMC.com website that will link you to this episode. And the synopsis of this episode is as follows. Alexandria receives an unexpected visit. And that is it. Again, very short synopsis for this episode. And again, I think we can just really assume that the unexpected visit that, the synopsis is talking about is Negan, and this really happened last episode. You guys will want to see my review for that episode. I will leave a link in the description below for you guys to go ahead and check that out. If you guys haven't watched the episode and stuff like that, then don't watch this video because that would spoil you. But with that being said, a review will be down in the description below for the last episode if you guys want to see my thoughts on it. But that's what I think this synopsis is talking about, unless they're talking about some other unexpected visit that, that would be really unexpected at that point. But anyway, we have a promo, we have 2 sneak peeks. One sneak peek is from Talking Dead, and the other sneak peek here is on AMC.com and on the AMC YouTube channel. So again, links will be all down in the description below for you guys to check out the promo and the 2 sneak peeks and everything like that, okay? So the promo, I'm going to go over it briefly. It's just a 30-second promo. We have some clips of Richard, the guy from the Kingdom that we actually haven't seen since episode, 2, I think, The Well. And we haven't seen Ezekiel either. Ezekiel's not in the promo, but if we see Richard and if we see Morgan, which we do in the promo, I have a feeling that we're going to be able to see Ezekiel. At least I hope, you know what I mean? I'm hoping for some Shiva before the, the whole 3-month break thing after the mid-season finale. I'm hoping for some Shiva and I'm hoping for Ezekiel. But let's just cross our fingers, okay? Because that's all we can do at this point. But we do see Richard sort of talking to Morgan throughout the entire promo, saying that there has to be something, done about the Saviors. Because if we don't stand up, if we don't do something now, our lives are going to be over. They're going to take all of our supplies. We're not going to be able to live. We have to do something. He's trying to convince Morgan, to try to take some action with him because no one else really wants to. You know what I mean? I think everybody really wants to, but they're too scared to actually, do anything, And I have a feeling that if he does end up convincing Morgan, which is what he, it looks to be doing in this promo, convincing Morgan, I believe Morgan would probably end up taking him back and finally introducing him to Alexandria and Rick and everything like that. And by that time, hopefully Rick will go through an experience in this episode because it looks pretty promising at this point that he will. And he has to probably finally find out that he has to fight back as well. There's no way that they can actually live with this. You know what I mean? That's what I think is going to happen in this episode. I think Rick is going to come to that realization. Now, it could be near the end of the episode and he's sort of just left in a blank stare. He looks like he's crying in a part of the promo as well, like he's seeing something super horrifying, like Negan's killing, another one of his members, of his group. And, I was thinking either that or he sees Negan, with Judith. I think that would really crush him. Now, I don't think Negan would hurt Judith, you know what I mean? First of all, she's a girl. He doesn't really hurt girls. And, well, I mean, second of all, she's a kid, right? So, I don't think that he would hurt her, per se, but I think that would really crush Rick. Just, seeing him with Judith and him holding Judith and Rick not really being able to do anything about that. Not being able to say, no, don't hold Judith, you know what I mean? Because Negan has all this other stuff over Rick. And I think that this episode is really going to push Rick too far in that direction of wanting to fight back. Now, in terms of us, watching the season and stuff like that, that's great for us, you know what I mean? It really is. But at the same time, it's going to be a big breaking point, I guess, for Rick, because he's finally going to want to fight back, but he has to sit here and think, how the hell can we pull this off? And I think that it's just going to all conveniently, in the end, sort of probably not this episode, but like next mid-season premiere, next half season, it's all going to line up, and, they're going to really understand how big their communities, really spanned if you all combine them together. The Hilltop, Alexandria, and, of course, the Kingdom. So that's what I'm hoping for, you know what I mean? But whether or not we'll get that this episode, I doubt it, I really doubt it. I doubt that Rick is going to even try to fight back this episode because, again, he doesn't really have any allies at this point other than the Hilltop, and the Hilltop is definitely not big enough to compensate for the amount of people that the Saviors have. And why would you want to start a war when you know that you can't win it, right? So he's trying to probably be smart about it, but at the same time, we all know that Rick could probably snap, at any given moment and just do stuff on a whim, shoot first and think later, sort of thing. That's always been Rick's mentality, but as of late, he's been a lot smarter with it, and I'm definitely glad about that. So with that being said, there's a bunch of other scenes in this promo as well, like Rick and Aaron, and we get to see almost everybody, in this promo, and, in that area of where they are at, you know what I mean? We don't really get to see Carol or Ezekiel, but we see Morgan and Richard, and we can presume that we'll probably get to see Carol and Ezekiel, right? And then we get to see parts of the Hilltop and stuff like that. So we can definitely assume that we're going to be really seeing everything at this point. Rick and Aaron right now are still currently on a run, for supplies. I'm really interested to find out, how that all plays out, because we left off with them last episode with them basically trying to get supplies from a boathouse, a boathouse, about, oh, I can't talk, a boathouse. And they're trying to get supplies from there. There's no way really across. The the pond, rather, whatever you want to call it, is filled with walkers. I get my words all mixed up, okay? That's what's happening right now. I do apologize. I'm a bit tired, but anyway, so that's where they left them. Last episode was on the outside of that pond, them really thinking about a way to get through and, get through there safely and basically get the supplies in that boathouse. I'm glad I said it, right that time. That was definitely going to be embarrassing if I didn't. But I think that'll be cool, to see what's going to happen there. And judging by the sneak peek, the first sneak peek that we saw on Talking Dead, it looks like they're going to try for it. I mean, there's a boat there with bullet holes in it. And they end up breaking a sign, or at least Aaron does. And basically they want the supplies in that boathouse. That's what they want. And they're gonna do anything to get it at this point. Rick basically tells Aaron, if you want to stay, you can stay. I'll go myself. It doesn't matter. And Aaron basically says, I'm going to pretend that you didn't say that. And then they end up making paddles and basically saying, this boat is not going to make it all the way across. It's going to take on a lot of water fast because it's filled with bullet holes. But they are going anyway. They start off the boat, and then that's where the sneak peek basically cuts off. Okay, so that's basically the first sneak peek right there. And again, in the promo, we get to see other scenes with Negan. Okay, we get to see Negan bloodied up, or at least there's blood splatter on him, which leads me to believe that there's going to be that iconic comic book scene, that death that I was talking about. I'm not going to tell you who it was. If you want to know who it was, look it up. Okay, just look it up. Don't blame me. I'm not going to tell you. But it's going to be pretty brutal, and it's going to be pretty great at the same time. I will say that. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. If you're a fan, then it probably won't be. But I can't really imagine you being a fan. I'll leave it at that. Okay. That's all I'll say. We get to see him basically without a beard this time as well, so we get to see the iconic, Negan from the comic book, clean shaven, and he looks good, man. He really does. It looks a bit weird, to see him without a beard, right now, because, we've seen him with a beard for like half a season, and it definitely looks a little bit weird, but I think that it's definitely going to work. He definitely can pull it off, I will say that. And actually, at the start of the promo, one more thing to note was Rosita was holding up the bullet that Eugene made her, and that leads me to believe that she might make an attempt on Negan's life. Now, whether or not she'll really follow through with it, I guess we're just going to have to wait and see, but there was a scene in the comic book as well where someone did make an attempt actually on Negan's life. I will say it outright. It was Andrea, because that really doesn't affect the show, because Andrea is dead in the show. Unless you didn't know that, then why are you watching a Season 7 review? But anyway, in the comic book, Andrea basically went up in a guard tower, or a watchtower, and shot at Negan, ultimately missed him, didn't end up killing him, and then there was consequences, which might be another reason why Rick is like crying, or there's some sort of a blank stare in his face, like he's just witnessed something. That could be another reason. Repercussions for trying to make an attempt on Negan's life. So that definitely is another possibility there. So I'm thinking that might happen, but at the same time, those are just predictions. Those aren't spoilers. That's just a bold prediction. All right, so the last sneak peek is very minor. We're not going to really pay much attention to it because it really has nothing to do, a lot with the episode, in terms of development and stuff like that. But it's basically Tara outside on her porch talking to Olivia, and she actually passes Olivia a canister of powdered lemonade, the stuff that Negan told Olivia to make him in the last episode. Okay, so she's definitely trying to go get some lemonade, and I guess Tara's the only one that had it. And Tara basically explains, Denise loved that stuff and everything like that. And, that was definitely an emotional moment there for Tara, but ultimately she basically just took the lemonade and went in the house. Really. There was a couple other things, with Tara basically suggesting, she take over for Olivia, give Olivia a break. She wants to go in there and take her place, and Olivia just says no. And, sort of, I want to say man's up, but I really don't think so. You know what I mean? I really don't think so. But anyway, that's where that sneak peek ended. Again, sort of irrelevant. Doesn't really tell us too much about the story. But with that being said, the sneak peek with Rick and Aaron in the boat, with taking on water and stuff like that, that looks pretty exciting. That looks pretty thrilling. I'm definitely excited, to see more of that this Sunday. So hopefully you guys will as well. Anyway, that is everybody. That's all I have for today. Okay, a very short promo. It does have a lot of things in it, a lot of scenes, and throughout pretty much the entire promo, we hear Richard talking to Morgan, trying to convince him, to fight back with him. Something has to be done about these saviors. And I'm thinking ultimately Morgan will agree. And like I said, probably either at the end of this episode or, at the start of the next episode, the start of the next half season, or sometime during that half season, I think we'll eventually get to see Morgan sort of realize that he's right and, ultimately take them back to Alexandria and introduce them to a big community. And then they'll sort of partner up with the Hilltop and the Kingdom and Alexandria. They'll all get together and it'll be a fun time. Okay. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching. And that's pretty much it for now. Hopefully you guys will be tuning in this Sunday, because I sure as hell will be, for the 90-minute mid-season finale, Season 7, Episode 8, entitled Hearts Still Beating. All right? I'm primarily a gaming channel, so if you guys like my gaming content, make sure you guys tune in tomorrow for a beautiful gaming video. Maybe Rust, I'm not sure what I'm going to post tomorrow, but irrelevant, okay? If not, though, make sure you tune in back this Monday for my episode review of the mid-season finale, Hearts Still Beating. That'll be up on Monday, and that'll be the break for reviews and predictions. I might do discussions, here and there, or like Q&As, what I think about the episode and stuff like that. So let me know in the comment section below if you guys would like to see anything like that, and I can definitely make it happen. And with that being said, this concludes my last episode prediction video for The Walking Dead for 2016. So I guess in terms of predictions, I'll see you guys back in 2017. Take care, everybody. Bye. Episode review for last night's episode of The Walking Dead. This was Season 7, Episode 7, entitled Sing Me a Song. Now, this episode was crazy, all right? First of all, it was 90 minutes. And second of all, we got to see everybody that we love and care about